Hello, I am Cleopatra Wallace, and this video is going to be for my conspiracy theorists, but not only them, but for other people who believe in the reset theory or the mud flood theory. This video is for you. Now, everybody has a different way of thinking about how the mud flood happened and where all it happened at. Today I'm going to be asking about the events between 1492 and 1942. This is kind of like an anagram within itself, but it's a 450-year period, and 1717 is the direct middle of that. And also, this is we're going to try to ask a few questions about those the U.S. expositions and the great fairs, and also the great fires that happened all over the world to, cover up events or architecture. So Holy Spirits, angels, and ancestors, please gather around to help us dig up some energy containing the mud flood of humanity. As far as I'm concerned, we're in the 5th cycle. But we're interested in the dates between 1492 and 1942. Now, I've already meditated on all the cards in this basket right here. I put them in there before I started the video in the interest of saving time. And this is a subject that covers such a vast variety of topics. So I've written down a few questions. I'm going to try to stay on track and ask the questions. So again, spirit guides, angels, and ancestors, please gather us the energy for the collective and the powers that be between the years of 1492 and 1942. Now, I'm going to take 3 cards just to get the general energy, and then, of course, we're going to clarify as usual. Ooh, and that's surprising. No major arcana. On the bottom, we have the 7 of Swords, which is, of course, the energy that you would expect to see if a parasite took over your civilization. This is the sneakiness, carrying out goods, leaving indoctrination. Alright, we're going to set this right here as the overall energy for this read. Now, one of the 3 cards is the 9 of Wands, which is fire energy, but this has nothing to do with the zodiac. This here is the 9 of Wands. It's a guy on the roof, and he has 1 gun, and he has, of course, the other 8 guns beside him because it's the 9. But the 9 of Wands is great strength or a great burden. And I'm getting the energy of around 1492 was when I would say industrialism began. All the different work on the canals, the Erie Canal, the Panama Canal, the Suez Canal. So I feel like men was already had so much on them, and then came along a parasite. And also we have the 8 of Swords, which is the self-imposed isolation or self-imposed imprisonment, which some people can say is a person's this light might be too bright right here, is a person's ideals or belief system that kind of holds them prisoner within themselves. And then we have the 3 of Coins, which is people working together in tandem. But not only that, but I like to call this card enough rope to hang yourself, because even though he has like a bandana around his neck, to me the extension cord and the bandana are like it's all connected to where, so you can accidentally hang yourself. Alright, so that's some pretty good energy we have starting out. Self-imposed isolation, too much free range, and burden. So let's clarify a few things. Now, everybody has their own opinion of who the parasites are. I think one of the major groups is flipped over. Meetings unfavored. Let's notice a negative card because it doesn't have triangles at the top. So this meeting unfavors card, I'm instantly getting the energy of conflict of interest. What was in our best interest is not in their best interest. Well, of course it wouldn't be, you know. But I feel like we imprison ourselves with all the trappings of this life. But other than that, Spirit, can you tell us what other ways are the parasites keeping us prisoner other than media, money, and carnal lust, like, you know, sexual lust? What other ways are we kept in bondage besides media, money, carnal lust? Alright. Social doings came out. Now, as soon as this card came out, I knew what it meant. Social doings, even though these are like three people and they look like they're organizing, and it is a positive card because it has two triangles at the top, this social doing is publicly being known as celebrity. So we're also held captive by celebrity, or what I personally would consider the ego. Alright, so we're going to jump over here and use the Hermetic Tarot to answer our second question. Alright, Spirit, what I would like to ask is, even though some believe the parasites are reptilian or they're Phoenician, seafaring people, can you tell us the identity of these parasites that are feeding off negative human emotions? Spirit, do you know the identity of the parasites other than the Phoenicians and the reptilians? Spirit, give us the name or the likeness of the other parasites besides the reptilians and Phoenicians. I'm going to take the next top one. Oh, I almost crushed it. They were still in my hand. Alright, let's see what they are. Alright, so we have three cards that came out for that. The Eight of Wands, which is quick action, or as this card says, the Lord of Swiftness on the bottom. Now that is interesting. I wasn't expecting that. Okay, now I asked who I was feeding off humans' negative emotions besides the reptilians and the Phoenicians. And this Eight of Wands card and this Knight of Swords, which, as we all know, the Knight of Swords is a spy. But this card right here with like these darker kind of images, I don't know if they're arrows or birds, but to me these dark things right here kind of like they could still be, I guess, some of the fallen angels perhaps that some believe started this. So I didn't think they were still around, but perhaps we do still have a few fallen angels around. Alright, and this last card is the Ace of Pentacles. And something about the way these branches are right here, I believe this is organized religion. Because organized religion does, in a way, you know, they sell hope to mankind. So, yeah, let's clarify these people. The fallen angels and organized religion. Or you know what? They could be one and the same. Maybe the fallen angels are over organized religion. We're going to clarify. Spirit, are the fallen angels using organized religion? Spirit, are the fallen angels using organized religion? Ooh. See it. Alright. Yes, they are. This is a card that came out, Men's Quarrels. And this is a negative card, of course, because it doesn't have the triangles at the top. But not only that, this is like mankind against mankind. In a lot of ways, you know, religion does oppose other religions. There are so many different forms of it. The conflicting beliefs. Alright, so very good. Let's see what else is on here. Now I'm going to go to the Alice in Wonderland deck for this next question. Spirit, is there a way that humanity could break free from this and progress their souls as it is meant to be and become unhypnotized by the trappings of the world? Spirit, is there a way that mankind can overcome this? It went jumped up. Oh, another one. Spirit, show us how mankind can overcome the trappings. Alright. So this is, this here is something else. So the first one we have is the Seven of Pentacles, where the guy is halfway done painting the rose bush, the white roses, the red, because, you know, he made a mistake. So this going back and correcting this, even though this is not a good way to correct this, the only real way would be to dig up this rose bush and plant the one you're supposed to plant in the first place instead of painting the roses. But not only that, I think mankind can come out of this by acknowledging the mistake, or at least acknowledging the error that was made, instead of trying to just cover up the mistake. So not only acknowledgement of the error, but then we have the Four of Swords, which is the rest after battle. But not only the rest after battle, but I think this is kind of like the, in my head they're saying the halfway point. When the halfway point is 1717, but this, I don't think this card has anything to do with that. This resting right here could be if we like unplugged from all the electronic devices and, you know, the drugs and stuff like that. But I'm going to clarify that card. And I'm going to use this deck to do it. Spirit, what is it that mankind needs to take a rest from in order to overcome this? What is it that mankind needs to take a rest from to overcome this? Alright, so what came out is the King of Needles. And I don't know if you ever watched A Nightmare Before Christmas, but this was like this crazy laboratory guy. He had created Sally and was helping Jack Skeleton steal Christmas, this whole thing. But anyhow, I think what we need to take a rest from, and here it talks about all these different products and new and improved ways to create stuff, because he was kind of like a Dr. Frankenstein. So it could be that we need to take a rest from all this genetically modified stuff, or even the entertainment and that constant stimulation. So what can help us overcome this parasite is acknowledging the mistake and taking a rest or stepping away from all of the trappings. Alright, so let's go on to one of the other questions. Alright, so as far as the banking and the money goes in this conspiracy, that's also a part of it. Because between the years of 1492 and 1942, the Titanic happened. And that, some people would say, took out all of the original bankers of, the global society. Apparently they were on this boat when it sank, and that gave, the powers to be, or the parasites, whatever you call them, the upper hand as far as finances are concerned in this world. So what I would like to know is, what should become of money? Should it go paperless to Bitcoin, or revert back to gold, or just be non-existent? Spirit, what do you think would be the best route for mankind when it comes to money in this dynamic? What should mankind do about affairs with money? Wow. It flipped up so high. I see it. Alright. So the card that came out was disorganization. And this is like the banking systems. Like Wall Street, the credit cards, that sort of institutional. That will have to become disenfranchised before we can step away from money. So this here, the global banking system, they're going to, I guess, keep a tight rein on that right now. So I'm going to clarify the disorganization, though. Spirit, what type of disorganization will have to happen to the modern banking system? What do you mean by disorganization? Clarify disorganization as far as the global banking is concerned. Clarify disorganization. Alright, there they are. So disorganization will be clarified by judgment, which is that somebody's coming back. So in this sense, the old way of money will be for it to be based on gold, like actual gold and resources other than this credit system. The barter system, that will have to come back. And using actual things of value, like gold and other minerals instead of paper. Yeah, and then Eight of Cups, to move away from the modern system. So we have to go back to the old system and move away from the modern system. Alright, so now I want to ask a few questions as far as this time loop with the 1492 and the 1942. Now, in between this, there was the Philadelphia experiment, where I think it is the USS Eldridge disappeared for 15 minutes and came back. And it either opened a time loop or closed a time loop. And I think CERN has used a similar method to create the Mandela effect. So what I'm going to ask Spirit is, what is it that the Philadelphia experiment and the Mandela effect have in common? Spirit, what is it that the Mandela effect and the Philadelphia experiment have in common? Alright. And what came out was the Fool, which is, mankind starting out with this new technology, thinking that, we have it all under control. And again, with this Fool card, the sun is shining on him very brightly. And this here dog, it kind of, looked like a wolf a little bit. I know the Mandela effect changed a few Bible verses from the lamb to the wolf. So this dog is looking a little wolfy here. But I think the foolish man coming out as far as the Mandela effect and the Philadelphia experiment is mankind going off into the unknown, not knowing that there was predators or someone right at the door waiting to come in as soon as it was open. So I'm going to go back to this deck and ask a few questions about the effects of mankind being the foolish man. What price has mankind, half the deck fell out, what price has mankind paid for this foolish venture to manipulate time and space? Because with the Philadelphia experiment, they made the ship disappear for 15 minutes. Not only from radar, but from other ships in the shipyard. Looking at it, it disappeared. And when it came back 15 minutes later, now everybody came back, and some of the people were actually fused to the ship. Like, it was strange. So, these unknown doors. What is the effect of mankind opening this unknown door? What happened to here? Alright. So the King of Pentacles is the Mad Hatter in this case. And that is quite the transformation from the Fool to the King of Pentacles. It looks like the benefits of going off on these foolish ventures is material goods. And not only that, but he's holding this pentacle within the stopwatch, those old watches that could open and close. It's like he's holding the pinnacle within this watch, which signify that we all know time is money, but I feel like this is not only time is money, but more or less control over the time and the money. And in this deck here, in the Alice in Wonderland deck, the Mad Hatter is also the devil in this one. Yeah. And but also in this card benefit, it seems, the nature itself, the flowers, the trees, all of that, to have control over even the nature of the world, whether you're in a 3D or the 5D existence. Alright, so now I want to ask a few questions about the old world before we came to this point now. And we will begin with prism lighting. Now, prism lighting was a way for people to illuminate underground cities and tunnels and that sort of thing. Now, as far as prism lighting and pavement lighting is concerned, I think it goes along with the theory that there were underground civilizations while the mud flood was at its height, or at the point to where mankind couldn't really move around in all the areas. I do think there was quite a few underground cities in North America and South America and all over the world, because these mud floods were global, not just continental. So as far as the pavement lighting and prism lighting is concerned, Spirit, what I would like to know is, are there breakaway societies or underground societies now? Spirit, are there breakaway societies or underground societies now in existence that we are not aware of? Let me take the top two. And this is, are there underground or breakaway societies now? Alright, so that came out with the Ace of Cups and another 7 at the bottom of the deck. Before we had the 7 of Swords at the bottom, and now we have the 7 of Wands. Now, as far as breakaway societies and underground societies and things like that is concerned, I would say yes. Because the Ace of Cups is, it's only an ace, a 1. But it's a big one. Look how big that canteen is in comparison to how little the other ones are. See that little one right there? Like the other ones are so little, you know, they're small, but this one is a great big one, and it's only 1. So let's clarify that. Why is the Ace of Cups here for the breakaway society or the underground society? Why is the Ace of Cups here for the breakaway society or the underground society? I personally believe that it may be in the Denver area, because, you know, in the conspiracy circles, the Denver International Airport, you know, is a big source of contention. They supposedly have like whole wings of the building that was an accident, so they covered it up with dirt, and, you know, it's just not very realistic, the stories that they spent concerning the DIA. So, yeah. Why is the Ace of Cups here for the breakaway society? Alright. And we have over concern. And over concern is, you know, the overdoing it card. Exaggeration. Now, I know before 2012 there were people who were you know, investing in bunkers and that kind of stuff. Maybe they were a little too worried about a cataclysm or something like that. But this here, over concern is, I'm not getting that. I'm not getting that. What I'm getting with this is this, the over concern is like a over vigilance. Like maybe it's over guarded. Or, you know, it is exaggerated. Or as they would say, ostentatious. Alright, and then the 6 of Cups over here is the giving and taking of love, or in this case I would say a society. The reciprocity card. Or I'm hearing like self-sustaining, like it's able to sustain itself. And oh, I guess that's where the Seven of Wands card will come in too, because this card here is a it's public, but in this deck it's like a private organization. As you can see, like they're they have people up there guarding the camp and stuff like that, and they're enclosed. Yeah, so there's you give us a little more about this Six of Cups as far as this breakaway society is concerned. Clarify the Six of Cups as far as this breakaway society is concerned. Why are the Six of Cups here for the breakaway society? This one. Alright, so the one we have is the Queen of Pentacles. And behind her is inventory. And as soon as I look at these little glass jars with different things that I'm reminded of, like I watched this thing on Discovery Channel like about 15 years ago, where they had all these different type of seeds from all over the world in case, you know, something happened and they had to replant all the fruits and vegetables and stuff like that. So this is what I'm getting from this. This breakaway society also has something to do with the kind of like a arc in a way. With I suppose everything you would need to start over again. Now, I want to ask what happened to the previous global civilization. Some people call them the Tartarians. Some people say it was the Washita Moors. I would like to know, Spirit, are these native people that were here before 1492, are they still viable? Or were they wiped out? Alright. So this is another Ace of Cups. We just had the Ace of Cups. This one. So this one is an Ace of Cups as well. So it's a 1. So perhaps there is maybe one encampment of these people left. You know, like in the tribes, they, in the Amazon forest or whatever, somewhere they be having like small clusters of people that no one knew was there. That's the energy I'm getting from this one here. Spirit, can you tell us a little bit more about this encampment of people that's left from the original global society? Oh. Social problems. No triangles at the top, so we know. But this social problems that I'm getting is not that they're up and thriving. This social problems is I'm starting to feel a little bit like running out of food or running out of supplies, like a famine. And I know in Venezuela they're having a famine right now. Yeah, this stuff they don't talk about on the news. Yeah, so this last encampment is having seems like they're taking part of a famine. So this video is running a little long, so we're going to wrap it up. But this is around the time that I asked a loaded question. Because here's the thing about this mud flood conspiracy and the Mandela conspiracy and the whole Tartaria thing. In the time that it exists, between 1492 and 1942 and stuff like that, that's also the same time slavery was supposed to be going on. And people have often made jokes like the Civil War date is around the same date as like so many other things. They're like, how could a country that's at war still be making all of these things and advances and building all these buildings and stuff if they're at war? And we have seen pictures of like black people portraying as slaves, but just like the stage photos for the Civil War and the stage photos for building the Empire State Building, when we know damn well they didn't build a lot of the stuff. It was all inherited. But if all of this is true, it is conflicts so hard with the slavery thing. And I think that may be why the whole reparation thing can't never really get going nowhere. Because the powers that be know that shit was all just a part of their story. And I'm not saying it didn't happen, but that 500 years is a freaking stretch. I would say 50 at the most. Just like they changed the I and the J to A and D, they could take away a zero from somewhere else and add it to another place. So my loaded question would be, Spirit, how is it that slavery exists during the mud flood theory? How could slavery and the mud flood exist in the same place? Alright, now that gave us quite a few. Okay. So we have the Seven of Cups, which is my misdirection card. Well, you know, he's shining the light over here when you really should be looking over here. So misdirection. Like, you know, the Chicago World's Fair, they really expect you to believe all those big buildings and stuff were built just for a fair. So we got misdirection, the Queen of Wands, which is a feminine energy, but not only a feminine energy, but of I'm hearing like the velvet glove touch. Like you can get the iron fist or the velvet glove. So they use the velvet glove technique. Eight of Swords, self-imposed. Yeah, because you know, people self-impose imprisonment because most people don't want to go learn too much for themselves. And public school is the indoctrination. So these will, I suppose, this self-imprisonment will be maybe people who just believe us. They have them believe. And then the Chariot, which is movement. And this did, I'm pretty sure, move people around the social class. And not only the social class, but the titles. Because in some conspiracy circles, Europe is the new world and America is the old world. So this movement, to me, is just the reversing of names and spaces. And again, this is, we had this card earlier, the Judgment card is back. And this card is so crazy because the spirit is so full of jokes. This person that they want to come back, which also help, is the whole Jesus coming back story. So slavery and the mud flood are able to exist in the same space because of misdirection, the velvet glove, self-imposed ignorance, the rearranging of names and places, and Jesus coming back. I'm going to leave it right there. So I am Cleopatra Wallace, and if you found this video interesting, give it a thumbs up Or you can subscribe to my channel, because who knows what's going to happen next.